What else is out?
So, new film by Sebastian Lelio called The Wander, which is in cinemas from Wednesday and is then on Netflix from November the 16th. This stars Florence Pugh, who you can currently see in cinemas in Don't Worry Darling, which I think is a flawed movie, but in which she's great, and I'm a huge fan of Florence Pugh. Basically, this story is set in 1862. We meet Florence Pugh. She's on board a boat from England to the Irish Midlands, where she is being sent to observe the case of a local girl, Anna O'Donnell, played by Keela Lord Cassidy. The girl has stopped eating, has not eaten for 4 months, but appears to be doing fine, which is baffling to everybody. The family and locals are calling it a miracle. She is the miracle girl who exists on manna from heaven. Lib has been sent there to observe her over 14 days to watch her, sharing 8-hour shifts with Sister Michael. And between them, they will look to see whether something underhand is happening or whether actually this is a case of divine intervention. Here's a clip.
Anna O'Donnell doesn't eat.
If a patient in the hospital refuses to eat, we use force.
The girl is not to be forced.
Nor interrogated or badgered.
But she is also not to be denied food should she ask for it.
The girl has lived miraculously without food since her 11th birthday.
Miraculously is not how she's done it.
The purpose of the watch is to determine exactly how Anna O'Donnell has survived with no food.
So you want us to watch her?
Yes. On the 14th day, you will each present your separate testimony.
How long exactly has it been since the last time the girl ate?
4 months.
That's impossible.
It's a Toby Jones show.
Toby Jones and of course the great Florence Pugh in the central role. Now, what's interesting about the film is this. So this is based on a book by Emma Donoghue, who also co-writes the script along with Sebastian Lelio, and Alice Birch, who wrote the script for Lady Macbeth, which was basically the kind of the movie that introduced a lot of us to Florence Pugh. So that's a really interesting...
She looks very much like that character.
Yeah, interestingly, there is that comparison. But that's a very good kind of creative cocktail. And the film begins in the following way. Do you remember The Human Voice with the short film by Pedro Almodovar? I think we interviewed him.
Yes, I do.
And it begins in a warehouse. You see the outside of the movie set, and then the camera goes into the movie set, and then the thing plays up. So it sort of sets it up as like a theatrical contrivance. This begins with a voiceover saying, "This is the beginning of a film called The Wander. And the people you're about to meet, the characters, believe in their story with complete devotion." And we see a similar thing about camera outside of the movie set with constructed sets. And the camera then goes into the sets and leads us into the drama. This seems initially like a kind of like a strange, Brechtian alienation device, if one will. But what it's doing is it's flagging up our ability to believe in fictional stories, our willing suspension of disbelief, the way in which we know that things are fiction, but we believe in them in the way that the characters believe in them. The rest of the film then is about this investigation of what's going on. Is there something miraculous happening? Is this something scientific? Toby Jones's doctor starts saying things like, I don't know, maybe she's found a way of processing sunlight, or maybe it's a magnetic force field or something. Or is the whole thing a con? Is the whole thing some kind of put on? Are the family covering up for something? And the way the drama sort of plays out is that these questions are raised and some of them are answered, and then there are revelations, and none of which I'm going to spoil. What's really important is that set up at the beginning about saying this is a story in which the characters believe in what they're doing. The way in which we believe in the story, because you do become emotionally invested, it's very, very emotionally moving, is a reflection of the way in which people believe the things that they believe. So rather than just saying a religious belief is, either if you're not religious, it's just a fallacy. Yes, but people believe the things that they believe. The scientific explanation, if you don't believe it's fact, yes, but people believe the things they believe. And it's a way of drawing attention to the fact that this is what this is really about, is about telling stories. you can watch this and you can think this is a story, a political story about, I mean, it's 10 years after the famine. So the central character of somebody starving, you know, clearly there's a political reflection. And she's an English nurse coming to Ireland. This is set up very clearly at the beginning. You can see it as a film about child abuse. A character played by Tom Burke, who is a journalist, refers to it as murder by degrees, somebody being allowed to starve to death as some kind of theatre. You can think of it in the way that I would think of a film like Requiem or Stations of the Cross or Lourdes, which are films about people's belief in their religious dogmas actually affecting the physical world around them. Or you can see it as a heartbreaking kind of drama about parents and children and loss and miscommunication and the things that you say and the things that you don't say. What I think is true all the way through it, I mean, it's interesting that Emma Donoghue said that she was originally inspired by real life stories of fasting girls, of which there are many throughout the world. Incidentally, you can also see this as a story about an eating disorder if you wish to. And she said she was particularly interested in one in which the Times newspaper sent nurses to observe a girl in Wales. And she said she saw this as a very, very sort of strange intersection between the media and the religious establishment. It was, it was somehow those two things are connected as like a kind of unholy alliance. And I think that what's fascinating is that on the one hand, she's brought that to it. The phrase that she used, this is her exact quote. She said, an unholy alliance of the medical establishment, and the media establishment. And so that's the setup for it. And then I think to that, Alice Birch, who did Normal People, worked on Normal People, who's got a great ear for dialogue, brings a kind of modernity to it. And then Sebastian Lelio, whose films, like Fantastic Woman and Gloria and Gloria Bell, brings this very cinematic thing to it. And then right at the centre of it, this, great cast. Really, really terrific cast, all of whom you believe in thoroughly. And this absolutely fantastic score, which is just strange and not what you would expect. It's a score by Matthew Herbert. And at the very beginning, it's kind of like this sort of seascape of sound and sampled noises and clangings. Anyway, I saw this without knowing anything about it at all. I didn't even know it was coming out next week until I found out last weekend. And I'm really glad I did, because I thought it was really, really impressive, really terrific.
And it's called
The Wonder. And it is in cinemas from Wednesday, and then it is on Netflix from November the 16th.
Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
Why wouldn't you?
I would. I have done.
Excellent.